we've reached a conclusion on the podcast.
Illegal!
Welcome back to the podcast. Today is episode 8, and we are just hanging out right now. How's your week been so far, Rob?
It was pretty good. Super excited to dive into some of this, which we'll see a little later here in a separate video, but that'll be coming later. I've been excited really all week since we got this. Been dying to rip into it and just decimate my insides. Just melt them with hot lava.
Just melt.
I've been complaining all week.
Yes. How was your week, Brian?
Full of complaining. No, it's been all right. It's nothing super exciting. Got a couple wins in a couple video games that I'm pretty proud of.
Cool.
You know what I mean.
Productive, yes.
Mm-hmm.
How about yourself?
Fantastic. Been looking forward to whenever I bought this sauce when it came in, just wanting to videotape it always. So excited for that and excited to see your guys' reactions to the hot sauce.
Nice.
And mine.
Yep. Suck it, Ray.
So.
You're up, Rob. No, how you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. I'm just been really busy. Just extremely busy as of late.
Good busy,
That's
bad
good.
busy?
It's actually been kind of a little bit of mixture, but heavily towards good busy.
Okay.
That's good.
So,
Good busy's good.
How's your dryer doing?
it is fully resurrected.
Resurrected.
Yeah. 3 days later,
Shaman came in and just...
it's good to go. Yeah, it's a
Good.
reason.
Good. Last week your clothes were all wet because you didn't have the dryer.
No, yeah, I got some new jeans.
Oh,
on
we got
today.
new jeans.
Oh, look at that.
I had to go buy some, but
Yeah. Well, that's
It is what it
there's a
is.
benefit to fucking your dryer up and all your clothes. You get to go buy some new clothes.
That's true.
phenomenal.
I've heard worse excuses, that's for sure.
So we're plugging that hot sauce we mentioned, but you probably already seen it now because it's probably going to be up before this episode is. So go check that out. Link here.
Yeah.
Anyways,
No, there's no link there.
Is it
Shows
here?
up over here.
over
I can't edit in a link.
well, you can put that thumbnail thing. Whatever.
I'll just put a bottle of Sean Evans
Polish.
with X's over his eyes.
Yeah.
Pepto-Bismol flashes on the screen.
All right. I'm going to start this roadshow off with eSports and how eSports and video games in general have just soared over the last 10 years, 5 years. I don't know. It's climbing and it's grown in popularity from the early 90s when nobody gave a shit. Soared.
Absolutely.
Along with
Let's
the
all
measure.
gingerly touch our tips.
I'm all the way over here.
Brian left out again.
Yeah. That's all right. I was watching in a corner.
But if you guys had to guess how big esports has become, how much do you think the whole esports industry, just like esports in general, not like the video game industry, but esports, like competitive gaming, teams, advertising and all that, how much do you think that whole industry is worth?
Does esports include people like streaming and making money off that as well?
No.
So
Unless they're streaming the tournament.
okay, gotcha. I would probably go ahead and say it's got to be close to. It's got to be cracking $1 billion a year industry.
I would say more than that, for sure.
I would say several $1 billion a year at this point.
Yeah.
In fact,
7 to 10.
I was gonna say 14.
Ah, okay.
14.
We're talking worldwide,
Yeah.
Worldwide.
Global.
Oh man, that shit's getting crazy. League of
It's-
Legends is out of control, and
Yeah.
Asian countries, just
in Asia, it's out of
so
control.
big. 905.6 million is predicted for 2018.
Oh, okay.
So Ray was the closest, but still, I mean, above $1 billion, it's probably going to climb. It's super big. I think they said like 50% of the amount of people embracing esports is from South Korea. China's actually a pretty big market. North America's just as big as China. Also, Europe is as well, but Asian countries for sure dominate it. Mostly, like, it kind of breaks it down in this graph on this website I have. I'll share it onto the group me here in a second. It basically shows that most of it comes from sponsorship, which makes sense because all these people are sponsored by whomever. And game publisher fees is another part, merchandise and ticketing. If you've not seen any of like League of Legends tournaments, they sell out arenas. Like
massive arenas,
not just like, oh, it's the one that holds 10,000 people. Like 300, 400,000 people go to see these play on the big screens on the
which is also
arenas.
Actually crazy because that's a free to play game.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And it's like one of the biggest esports games ever, and it's completely free for anyone to jump in and
Fortnite.
give it a whirl. And that's another great a great thing. And I think that one, like I get to the point now where I'll be sitting in line like checking out my groceries, and you just hear kids like fiending for Fortnite.
Right.
They're like yanking on their mom's purse, like, I gotta get home to play Fortnite. It's just like I've never really seen anything quite like it. And
well, it's very similar, I think, to like we were talking earlier before we even started today, how Jordan Peterson makes money, through his Patreon. He's produced so many videos and so much content for free, and it's quality content that now he just happens to make a decent chunk of change.
Yeah, and all these people doing the esports, they also probably have Patreons too, especially if they're like the star of their team. Like how Overwatch has their own Overwatch League, there's a few people that probably have a Patreon, and they're also getting paid by their sponsor, and they're wearing that on their like uniform that they're wearing.
For sure, NVIDIA, all those
Yeah.
motherfuckers.
What is your guys' opinion of esports being considered a sport? I don't really watch sports much, but I know, Brian, you tend to like more sports than I think most of us. I could be wrong.
By default. No, I'm just kidding. I quite enjoyed the American football there.
Yeah.
It's specifically NFL, because college, I don't know, it's just not something. You can't win the Super Bowl. Why are you playing the game? To win the Super Bowl eventually.
Playing for the chance to play in that fucking Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's what they're playing for.
Yeah.
Go ahead with your what do you think? How do you feel about it?
Do you consider it like a sport just the same as football, soccer?
It's an esport. It's not a sport. I mean, if it was a sport, it wouldn't be called esport. I don't know. It's got to be its own separate category. It's not
kind of like poker.
Yeah. I don't think that
Or
poker
chess.
should be considered a sport as well. But I don't know.
Did they have? Yeah, they have
Is it
competitive
chess considered a sport?
I don't. Yeah.
Or is that?
I mean, what does it take to be considered a sport? Like, you got to be in the Olympics.
Matching uniforms for
Yeah, I
sure.
know.
'Cause, I mean, there's even a lot of stuff in the Olympics, and I'm like, that's a sport.
Like curling?
I mean, I can at
Jake
least
Louis and
understand
your love
that.
of curling. I'll never get it.
No one loves curling.
No.
Except
Some
Canada.
guys just like, damn it, I love curling. Sorry,
We just
George.
lost half of our viewers.
From some of the negatives for like an esports thing though is like what I don't like to see is when you have like a nice franchise and they'll start making adjustments because they want to get into the esports scene. So instead of like that game you've always liked and loved for the past 5 years, now it's like their multiplayer is completely fucking different because they want people to play it on like an esports level,
Right.
which I'm fine with, but I think there should be like separate. It should be separate, and most of them do. Like they'll be
Well,
like,
yeah, they have-
here's our MLG mode, and here's our
Well, not only that,
regular
every
one.
game has casual play and then competitive. If you're playing in competitive, like you're gonna come across those people that are like, well, I want to get good enough to be that guy.
And I'd like to know like some of the statistics on the numbers, like out of all of those, like how much of that, like I would imagine almost all of it is League of Legends. Like
Most of it is
Hearthstone.
League of Legends, yeah.
So it's like one of those things where it's like, how do you broaden it out and bring that kind of popularity
Is
to other
Hearthstone
games?
also a free-to-play game?
Yeah.
I think a lot of games are being built around it, like how Blizzard did Overwatch before that came out.
Yeah, it's not
esports
free to
was
play, though.
no,
Yeah.
but they
But it's a great example.
yeah.
I can't
That's
wait
gonna
till
be the next big one, I
till
think.
Rocket League comes out. Or sorry,
tournaments.
Robocraft.
It's out.
What?
Yeah, I just got it.
Yeah,
well,
it's-
the beta's out.
no,
it's
I think
out.
the final game's out now. Yeah,
Are you
Just came out.
shitting me?
it's
Yeah.
also included in Game Pass.
I got it.
So if
I
you
got
want
it.
to try it out on Game Pass and
Today.
try it
No,
out
I gotta
today,
try it out. I'm in.
I
How
got
much?
it through,
How much is it?
I'm not sure how much it is.
think it's
got
40.
it. I got it through
39.
Keymailer, this website I'm a part of, and they just sent it to me.
That's fantastic.
sponsorship there.
Keymailer, get a hold of us, y'all.
Y'all.
No, fuck these guys. Keep sending me shit.
But the amount of people watching, I think, is just going to increase because obviously Twitch is super big. How you guys mentioned Fortnite, everybody's watching. Like Ninja, for example, when he did his stream with Drake. I'm just going to bring up this.
A couple of them now, I think.
Yeah, for sure. This is going to be information from when he just did it, so he might have broken these records already, but Ninja usually brings in 60,000 to 90,000 views per stream, which by itself is pretty crazy. And then the stream's first milestone was 200,000 views before Drake joined him, and then Drake joined, fixed some audio issues, and then the number jumped up to 400,000, and then Drake was like,
is that on the live stream?
Live stream on Twitch.
Oh my
God.
God.
And then Drake tweeted out, hey, join the stream real quick, and just like tweeted it out, and then it jumped up to 600,000, where it hit the top of 630,000 people watching him.
That's more people than watch, like, I think any television network at one time, probably.
Well, probably
excluding big occasions.
Yeah,
like
Game of Thrones.
Probably
or something
Game
like
of Thrones
that.
would
You
destroy
can't
that,
count-
yeah.
I know some of you know this answer. I don't know if Ray does. This guy, Tyler Blevins, recently came out and said how much he makes a month from streaming on Twitch.
Isn't Tyler, I think he's a Ninja, isn't he?
Yeah, that's what
Okay,
that is.
gotcha.
The same guy we're talking about.
I did start watching a video about it, but I didn't really see.
It's a lot.
It's gotta be hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions.
It's $500,000 a month.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Playing Fortnite a couple days.
And this is not even like competitive esports. This is just this guy got the sponsorship and he's playing it.
The worst part about it is both of those people are terribly uncharismatic and just genuinely. I'm like, who likes Drake? Who likes Ninja? Apparently, a lot of people. I know I'm clearly on the wrong side of that boat. But it's just like, these guys are terrible.
Who likes Rob?
Why is anyone watching any of this? It's like it's just super bizarre to me. It's just,
Are they incredibly
like
skilled? I don't watch a whole lot of it.
He's really skilled.
Good. He's
just
good.
really good.
You know, he's under a lot of scrutiny right now. I heard he's being sued by Twitch for some potential shit he was doing to boost his numbers.
Yeah.
With Amazon.
That's not cool.
And some people have called him out on it while he was playing with them, and he's tried to defend it, and it sounded like, if you listen to him, I was just like, oh, he clearly did that shit. Way too defensive, and these stats are not helping his cause at all.
No.
But I guess back to the esports thing.
Is it a sport? We never really finished on that.
I mean,
I would classify it as a sport because you have to get good at it. You have to practice. These people spend their lives doing it, and I mean, obviously it's not physical sport, but it's more of a mental.
Let's say if Ninja Tyler Blevins was just like, I'm gonna go play Fortnite at fucking Madison Square Garden and it's $50 a ticket, I bet he'd sell the fuck out of that thing and probably
easily
fill it up. Which I'm fine with. But if anyone, I haven't been jumping on Twitch in a long time since I used to stream on it, but there was always the frustration of kind of seeing who your competitors are, and a lot of the times you'll just see like a girl showing some cleavage with 40,000 live people watching her, and like she's may or may not even be playing a game.
Oh yeah.
Usually there's like a game in the corner and she's just like on her phone talking to the chat room. Sometimes there's a game playing and they're pretending to play it, but they're really not. Like it's just a video that's playing while they have a controller in their hand. Yeah. And it was just like, at some point, a lot of them do play games, and there's definitely some good ones out there. But it was frustrating when like you're putting in a lot of time and effort to try to build something, and then you see someone like. There's platforms for that. If you want to do that, you can go over to ChatterBait and show your tits for money. But I guess where would the line draw? It's like all of a sudden you got him there selling out Madison Square Garden to play.
Well, that's not really esports. That's just stream.
No, it wouldn't be, but
sure.
it would. They're going to go hand in hand at this point. It's like he would be playing with other people, and it would kind of be esports at that point, right? I mean, you're paying to watch someone compete in a ranked scenario.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden you're going to have some girl that's just like selling out Madison Square Garden, sitting Indian style in a chair with a controller,
on her phone talking to chat.
With a controller that has like wire running out to nothing in the middle of the stage, and she's just like, "So you guys should buy my Snapchat name."
So what's the difference between that and some pop star lip singing their concerts?
Nothing. I hate them all.
Okay, that's cool. I guess that question is posed for this reason. I think that's just a fucking fact of life. And no matter what we do, we're going to have to live with that shit. No matter what and what platform, what environment you're talking about, that is what it is. And people just got to be either, better about saying, I don't care, and not giving their attention to that. Or obviously, if that's where the attention's going, that's where it's going, whatever. But how many shows can she sell out at Madison Square Gardens for people who are like, this is some dumb shit, and just her career's destroyed?
Yeah, I don't think
I don't know. I bet it would.
If she was faking
we're
it, she
gonna, in
wouldn't
like
sell
10
out.
weeks, all of a sudden, it's just we're going to be coming back like, yeah, who knew? Who fucking knew?
Ninja's
she's sold
planning,
out. She's sold
now
out.
going on tour.
Yeah.
Ninja
She
and a
sold out
cam
Madison
girl.
Square Garden 10 nights in a row. $50 million a night she's making.
Ninja decides to get implants and he becomes a cam girl.
Oh man. Well, I guess back we kind of that is. Where do you draw the lines of what's esports and what's not esports? Because how is that not esports? I guess he's not being paid. It's really the same thing.
I would say that's esports, but the chick that's not playing the game is not esports.
I wouldn't even say that what he's doing is esports. I think that esports has to have a set tournament, set rules. It has an organization looking over it, determining what is fair play. There has to have some sort of organization that's pulling the strings.
It's just like a black market fight, only it's public.
It's comparing put football, for example, like the Patriots versus the Lions, and then there's some dude with his friend recording a game they're playing in the back of his yard, saying that that's the same thing. Yeah. Very poor analogy, or comparison, but
I don't know. I think it's different because of the fact that tickets are sold and there's money being spent, and it's the same thing as the NFL. It's just some
people throwing money at you.
Yeah, I think it's all. I would classify it as as esports, and whether or not esports is sport, the definition of sport here is an activity involving physical exertion and skill, in which a individual or team competes against another or others for entertainment. So
the physical exertion part, that's more of
until you're playing games with your mind.
And your brain's a muscle,
you have to have. If somebody has shit hand-eye coordination, they can't play at the level as
They just
probably
can't
even
play.
us, let alone professional people.
Yeah.
And so I think that it's definitely a sport for sure. It's just as much as ping pong or any other thing like that is a sport. It's just a different type. It has coordination, very heavy coordination, and you have to be able to mentally process all that at a high rate of speed, and that involves training, and you have to put in hours of dedication and practice to achieve that.
Yeah, if badminton is a sport, esports is definitely a sport.
For sure.
Shuttlecocks.
There's probably something, if we just thought about it hard enough, some way to make it so you could almost turn. What I'm thinking is, how can you make all games or most games or a large majority of games have that same kind of popularity where people are going to come want to these people are just playing at such an unreal level. For me, to watch League of Legends people play it is fucking terribly boring. There's nothing going on in that game, and even when the shit gets real crazy, the whole fucking place is going nuts. There's not a whole lot going on there. Just a guy got a really good double kill or triple kill or something like that.
Just to insert facts on it before we're kind of done.
You could hit me with what you got.
League of Legends 2015, 36 million people viewed this, and course of 73 games, the tournament saw an average of concurrent viewership of 4.2 million per 70 or just per game, which is insane, with the average fan watching for over an hour per viewing session, and that's from Riot Games.
And that would never be me. I would never go watch. It's not obviously not for me, but it's a cool game. It's cool to play. I like the concept of the game. I like Smite. Smite's very similar, just from a different perspective, really. But I would never go watch people play it in a stadium setting. But I will and continue to watch people just play on Twitch because of their personality, rather than in a tournament setting. Yeah. So I don't know.
I'd rather watch an esports session of, just using Overwatch as an example, where they have the Overwatch League that started about a year ago, Shanghai versus Boston's team. They have 7 teams all throughout the United States. And because like they have 2 broadcasters usually covering everybody, they're switching out, like it's usually the teams 6 versus 6, and they're switching out through all those cams, and then they're giving their opinions like, oh, Reinhardt's gonna go slam him up against the wall. Very similar to an actual sport. So that's why I was comparing like the sport versus the Twitch, where it's just the one guy doing it by himself. But like the esport of like just watching them do that, I'd rather watch that just because there's a lot more for me to watch, and I don't have to like hope this guy's really funny.
Are you going to pay and go sit down in a stadium?
No, but people are paying them, being sponsors, and like. But I would go to maybe not a stadium, but I don't go to a stadium to see a sport. That's just me.
It depends on the game, though, whether or not I would.
Yeah,
go.
Everybody likes different ones.
If there was a legit PUBG competition in Detroit, like I might show up, for sure.
To play or to watch?
No, to watch. Yeah, to watch for sure. Hang out. Like I don't even
just really enjoy watching people run through a field for 45 minutes.
That's what the fuck every sport is that you watch. People are running through a field for over 45 minutes.
That's soccer.
Football, soccer, baseball. That's exactly what it is.
They're doing something.
Baseball's awful.
I don't know.
It's the most boring shit I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, but going to a game is fun because the atmosphere, the energy.
Yeah.
Like
baseball game?
I like all sporting events. I hate sports in general, but I love going to sporting events just because it's fucking the energy of the atmosphere of the environment is just great, and as long as you got $100 to drink for the whole time you're there, it's a good time.
Yeah, I'd rather go to a stadium and watch an esport than any sport that's out now.
Well, I'd have to say you're lying because you haven't done it.
I've never been to a stadium.
Watched Twitch a million times. I've never been to a stadium.
Seriously, like I've never been to any major sporting event ever.
Huh.
Even when I was in college, I never went to any of my CMU games.
Well, take it back then. Take it back.
No. Okay, that's kind of wraps up the esports. I think we mostly all agreed somewhat to. I think it's a sport.
It's crazy.
I mean, it really depends.
On
the person's
is it a
views.
sport? I guess it depends how you define a sport. No, I'd say it's not a sport, but I think they deserve everything they're getting.
Cool.
For sure. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Okay, so I think we're split. That's cool.
Call it an e-sport, I guess.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Like they did.
Give it a different name. I'm down.
They did. No, would you call it an e-sport? An electronic sport, I'm guessing is what that's for.
I mean, for sure. I think it takes probably just as much dedication to be a top-level performer on that as it does to be in any other athletic situation. So it's, whether it's physical training or just playing games, it's probably the same amount of time that you need to develop the skill.
I just want to end the segment on viewership of what they're predicting for 2021. Basically, it's showing a graph here of the occasional viewer and the esports enthusiast. The occasional viewer is usually higher than the enthusiast, and it shows 2016 had about 160 occasional, 2017 192, 215 on 2018, and then it's jumping to 307 million in 2021 of the occasional and 250 of the esports enthusiast, being like 600 million of viewership. So I think a lot of like ESPNs and everybody going out there is like, we need to get some of this money.
I think it's a lot of that free games coming out too that are just phenomenal, that everybody has access to as long as they have an internet connection and a game console.
Every company wants to make like an esports style game so they can like have that same game be like their game for 5-10 years instead of, we gotta release another one.
Now, would you be willing to pay like a monthly subscription to be a part of like a championship pool? Like if you want to be considered for the championship, you pay $5 a month. It goes into a pool, and depending on where you rank, will determine whether or not you can fly out to California and get in the tournament for the big prize.
No, but I would be willing to pay to get into a
qualifying tournament.
Qualifying tournament.
Yeah,
just like poker, but I wouldn't pay a subscription fee. No,
not subscription. Very similar to that.
Practice up, ready to go.
What if it was like $1 a month?
If it was $1 a month, if I enjoyed the game, I would give them $1 a month just to know I'm supporting them. If it was a free-to-play game.
Yeah, and if that gets you the access,
if you're big like Fortnite, I mean, $1 a month from all your people.
Yeah, right.
It's pretty huge numbers.
Yeah.
I wish I had it up. I didn't, but it was something ridiculous. I was just talking about how they released a $20 skin on Fortnite, and within like so many hours, they made $13 to $15 million.
So ridiculous.
And And I was just like, man, you guys are gonna release a $20 skin? That's kind of fucked up. I think that's kind of fucked up to release a $20 skin, but people like it. People like it, and they're willing to buy it.
To pay for it. There's nothing wrong with that, especially since there's no free to. It's free to play, and there's no pay to win.
It's not hurting anybody.
If they can get, if everyone
except
that had
their parents' Wi-Fi.
Probably like 30 families that are homeless right now. It's not hurting anybody.
This kid keeps on buying these things. We're in the poorhouse.
Hey, that's a whole different issue. Beat your kids. But hey, but beyond that, no, I think like everybody who had a part of something in the creation of that game, if they become filthy rich off of it, awesome. More power to you. I think that's phenomenal. What they've achieved. I think it's great.
So to veer this in a crazy turn, do you think that companies should be allowed to market to kids?
Sure.
It depends on the extent of the marketing, I guess. It depends on the company and what they are marketing. I think if it's a kid-related item, they should be able to market it to kids. But like, I don't think, you shouldn't be able to like, hey kids,
here's an AK-47. Dildos.
Hey kids, dildos. That's the name of a sex tape.
The camel from Camel Cigarettes sort of thing.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, guys, my pool game ran late at the jazz club.
Goddamn, he's cool. I want to be cool, too.
The kids love him.
Yeah. I don't know. I think kid stuff, okay. Not kid stuff, not okay.
Yeah, I got you.
Generally.
Well...
And I don't want to be in charge of defining the line. I just think that there's some common sense there. And then
there's a whole lot of stuff on the YouTube algorithm and showing shit to kids, and the way that works is pretty crazy as well. Yeah. They're getting in some trouble for that.
Yeah. I mean, our podcast. Would you, if you had a 5-year-old, would you let your 5-year-old watch our podcast?
Nope.
No, I wouldn't make him. I'd clockwork Orange's eyes open. Sit there with light misting, dusting a flower into a fan that's going right into his face. But that's just me. No, it's not something you obviously wouldn't want to allow access.
No, and I wouldn't. I'll probably up to probably 14 or 15 would be the point on which I would maybe allow my kid to watch this podcast.
So you'd be upset if like your kid was watching some silly shit on YouTube and all of a sudden it recommended our shit next? You'd be like, oh shit.
I'll be honest, just because I'd be personally affected by it, I'd be actually more impressed than upset. But
damn.
We're getting popular.
Hashtag kids. Got to work on those hashtags.
Hashtag kids. Not one I'm ever using.
Oh god.
I'll sneak it in there.
No, I don't think I'd be that upset really. But
I don't sneaking it in there.
Because again, I don't think it's up to YouTube really to monitor that as much as it is the parents' job to monitor that. So I don't really give a shit what YouTube algorithms do, other than the fact that they're already fucking everybody. But beyond that, like, it's just, to me, it's just about content.
The problem they were running into was like the whole like Elsa Gate thing. You see that shit where like,
and maybe I don't know,
they'd be watching some Bob the Builder shit, and all of a sudden it would be like, here's this Elsa video, and it'd be like it's just some really terrible shit. Like there'd be some girl dressed like Elsa, and like Spider-Man would walk in the room and like tie her up and start like finger fucking her mouth. And that would be for kids. It'd be under the kids. It'd be labeled for kids. It would pop up for like it would just pop up in and they were essentially, it was this one company that was doing it, and they met all like the requirements so they could be considered for kids, and they were just reaping in millions of dollars in ad revenue, and it was just like all these kids are watching these really fucked up things.
Is it still happening?
No, not with that one in particular, but there's still a bunch of super fucked up shit like that where it'll also be like full content of whatever they click on, then some like dude comes in the corner and he starts like saying some super fucked up shit to the kids.
I think that's all kind of fucked up, but I also kind of look at it like this. That's millions of dollars getting paid to people helping YouTube reach quality control that they don't have to pay. And yeah, it goes through tests and people have to watch it and deal with it, but that's life.
Well, you were saying you don't think it should be up to them, and I think absolutely it should be up to, like, that shouldn't be something that happens.
For sure, but that you can't, like, nothing is perfect, you know what I mean? So if somebody squeaks something through, then that's a good thing, because then you can be like, okay, well, where's our hole at? And then you fix that. And then, of course, some other asshole. It's just like people hacking systems and anti-hackers and missiles and missile defense systems. And and cheaters and people trying to stop people cheating in games. You're always going to have one outdoing the other, going back and forth.
Now, what if they secretly allow it just to collect the ad revenue?
Well, that's a different story.
Yeah, that's a different story. That's a different thing.
Because and if that is happening,
that's not what was happening.
Yeah, I mean, if it's happening, then
for sure.
Obviously, that shouldn't be happening.
If that was provable, I think they're definitely at fault, without a doubt. But I don't think you can ever stop 100% of things happening, and then sometimes that goes way too extreme, and it prevents.
I don't think it can either. But I do think it should be their
accountability.
Their job.
Yeah.
Like if you're a parent and you download YouTube Kids app and it's just like, this is shit for kids, so you don't have all that creepy stuff.
For sure.
You shouldn't have to be like,
Absolutely.
well, I'm going to watch every time.
I was trying to get him to like suck on my finger or something.
Oh god.
Well, I mean, the point I was essentially trying to make there is, I do think it should be like, it should be your job. And sure, shit's gonna like squeak through, but like, let's be real. You knew that shit was there. You knew it was happening, but you were like, holy shit, we're making fucking $20 million a year off the ad revenue of this creepy shit. We'll just keep responding to these complaints that we're getting and go, okay, we'll look into it, and just keep cashing these fucking checks.
Yeah. Yep. It's hard to say. If that was provable that was the case, I think then definitely there should be, especially on the YouTube Kids app in general, that should be a problem. But then I also hate when it goes the opposite direction. It's like you can't even get fucking news about what's going on in, other parts of the world that are, that aren't monitored and blocked off YouTube.
So what's your next topic there, Joe Rogan?
Pretty much gut flora. No, we're gonna talk about just some terms and service. I mean, it kind of all goes with really almost both of these stories. It could be because we agree to everything all the time, especially if you have certain softwares that are just constantly going through software updates. iTunes being one of them now that it's on my computer.
Every app that updates.
Every
day.
Fucking 8 minutes, iTunes needs an update. I've had iTunes installed for about a week, and I'm sick of it already. Like, how many fucking updates do you need?
Find us on iTunes.
Fuck off with the updates, and just terms and service in general. We see them, we agree to them. We're pretty much in this spot where there's nothing we can pretty much have a voice about because we just agree. Like, we agreed to it all. I mean, all this AI shit and our phones listening to it. We agreed to it all, and is that all right?
Well, the
is that all right that like we're just in this
them.
We're in this like part where it's just like, what am I not going to use this computer? Of course I agree. What am I not going to use this phone? Of course I agree to Google's or Apple's terms of service.
Right, you have to
and
it's a terms of service or Amish.
You can't hit decline and then still use that phone. It goes, well, read it again and then let us know when you agree, and then you can use the phone. It's like, I bought this hardware, I want to fucking use it. I don't agree to your terms of service. There should be an option there, and it's just, there's not. It's just like, you fucking are going to give us all your freedoms, and then you're going to be able to use our product. And I looked up some silly shit. I mean, there's definitely some silly shit you agree to in terms and service. Apparently there's some heavy shit, and Oculus and Facebook owns pretty much anything that you create using their service or product. But I guess the more the point is, like, where are we going to draw the line there? Because we have to do it somewhere. We can't just like continually allow these companies to write out these 500-page documents that they know no one's going to read, and so they just kind of pepper in whatever the fuck they want. That way, when that legal trouble comes, they can just go, "You said we could."
You said yes.
I think that the only way to actually do that and enforce it is through legislature, and by saying that user agreement can contain whatever the fuck you want it to contain, but it has to be less than so many words.
Yeah, the limitation of how many words would be
whatever.
You get 8 sentences.
No, because you could draw 16, that shit out.
16 words per sentence.
Semicolon.
Gotta be written in a tweet.
Here's an interesting.
Yeah, if you can't fit it in a tweet, it can't be user agreement.
You gotta. I like that. You have to send them. You have to send me your terms of service on Twitter in one tweet.
And then Twitter's just gonna make their character limit 1 million.
Microsoft Word.
You know what's funny is even if they made it the size of a tweet, I bet you people would still not read it and they would still agree.
At that point, that's negligence, but 500 pages of shit isn't. Yeah, that's ridiculous. But if you can't read the size of a tweet to fucking use a software that you're about to spend hours on, then fuck you.
Let's say
whatever steals from you.
How much is the latest Oculus, Ryan? You know?
Yeah, it's $399.
$399
for the Oculus Rift. Yeah.
Oculus Rift, $400.
Yeah.
You buy it. You take it home. You spend 47 hours setting it up and getting everything to work properly. You finally rip it open, and you're just like, okay. And then it slaps you with that terms of service. And it reads something like, by submitting user content through the services, you grant Oculus a worldwide, irrevocable, perpetual, which means lasting forever, they put in there, non-exclusive, transferable, loyalty-free, and fully sub-licensable, i.e., we can grant this right to others, right to use, comma, copy, comma, display, comma, store, comma, adapt, publicly perform and distribute such user content in connection with services. You consent to any and all acts or omissions by use or persons authorized by us that may infringe any moral right or analogous right in your user content.
So I can't molest Kermit the Frog in VR chat anymore and have that be
no,
my
you
privacy.
can. You just can't post it up and make money off it until they find out. Then they would be able to just be like, you know what? That's our content. You got to give that to us.
They could probably sue you for all the money you made off of it.
Right.
What I want to do with Kermit is my business.
That's I just the way that was worded is just like,
yeah, that's crazy.
I didn't know I was gonna have to bring my lawyer to this.
Well, you don't have to. You know they're fucking you. They brought their lawyers already.
Right, and it's just like, you're going to have a team of fucking lawyers. Like, I bet if a fucking lawyer sat beside you before any terms of service, they'd go, no.
Yeah.
Do not say
never.
yes.
Why would you agree to that? Return it all right now.
And it's on everything you own.
Like, I mean, just the way that was worded was just so fucking unnecessary and silly. That was just fucking stupid to play a VR.
Basically, you have no rights on this
that was
thing.
one paragraph of, I'm sure that was a mountain of legal jargon.
Yeah, 10 characters. All that needed to say was, we own you.
Pretty much.
Put that in a tweet. Let me accept it and let me play my fucking Oculus Rift.
Consume.
Yeah, I don't think it's right. But I don't know. Again, what are people? What do you have the power to really do about it? You know,
well, pass a bill that says you have to keep it short.
I think it should be the other way around. I think the consumer should bring terms of service to the service provider, especially when you have a service that can affect your financial well-being, and like you use a particular software or a server to run your business, and it goes down. And on their end, they're all covered. It doesn't matter how much fucking money you lose. Like, you agree to our terms of service that says we don't give a shit. But I think it should be the users that create terms of service. And very simple, nothing silly fucking nonsense where it's just like, oh, if it goes down, you owe me $1 trillion.
It'll just be like, if it goes down, if you don't get it back up in 2 days, this happens.
Here's how much I make per day. Here's some paperwork that states that. And, if you can't provide me with the service, this is what it's going to cost you if you can't provide me with the service that I'm paying you for.
Right.
Will we ever get to a spot where we're all making our own terms of service? And no, that's not going to happen. But
I think what will happen is, if anything like that happens, is like social unions, if you will could arise. Where people vote on it's basically to kind of like replace our current like style of government. Or maybe just another layer of government-ish, if you will, where people can join these unions and vote on members in the unions to speak for them on behalf for things like this. If say, the service doesn't perform or can't perform, where the monetary dues of the people that pay the union to be the union, where they can just start their own thing. Oh, okay, well, you can't support this? Well, we're going to go purchase this land over here and pay these employees and set up this warehouse and buy all these servers and such and just have it for our own. And then we're going to go to all your customers that you're disappointing, and we're going to offer them, the same service that you're offering right now that you can't seem to perform for us.
Well, that's when it comes into the regulations that they just got rid of on the FCC thing, where Google will just be like, okay, well, you're going to have really slow speeds on Google Fiber, and we'll just have the same normal speeds. So you can take all the people you want. We'll still have ours.
Isn't this what you actually pay insurance for, though? I'm sure that they have server insurance, and I'm sure you can pay a company to
probably
pay you out if the server goes down and you can't make your money the way you typically could.
Possibly.
I mean, I'm sure somebody has that.
Has to.
And if not, don't steal it, because
it's already gone.
Money-making machine right there.
It's already gone.
Yeah.
There's a ton more pretty fucked up things in the Oculus terms of service about them pretty much.
They're gonna take your firstborn.
There's stuff in here about they're recording your movements, and they hold the right to use that information and sell it to whoever they please, including third parties, including your GPS signal, Wi-Fi network, the cell towers you use, your IP address.
That's funny.
If you're using a mobile device, we may collect information about your device precision location. This is in your Oculus Rift stuff still as well.
Well, I think they have the cellular data on there for when you're using your data, for Gear VR, because that's still Oculus.
Regardless of what's there, they're just we may access it and find your location and sell that to anyone we fucking please, as long as they ask nicely.
Yeah, but they have to have some of that in there to be able to be using the Verizon service, so they can use their Oculus store. They have to throw that on the terms of service.
I'm sure they need my location, my precise location for my phone for me to be in VR.
No, not your precise location, but at least
Why do they need to know your location at all? It's virtual reality. That shouldn't even be.
We may collect information about your device's precise location, which is derived from sources such as your GPS signal and information from the Wi-Fi networks and cell towers you use.
Well, when you have the phone in the Rift, do you actually?
You don't have a phone in a Rift. The Rift is independent of a phone.
Yeah, but it's probably a software for, if this is only for the Rift, then that's different, but Oculus makes the Gear VR as well, and that would be why. That's
what I was thinking.
Especially if you're using the Google Maps on the Gear VR, they need the precise location, and they need to put that in their terms and service to use it.
This says in particular, this is for the Oculus Rift.
Then that's fucked up.
This is for the Oculus Rift.
Unless they're using Google Maps on it.
Unless you got to download an Oculus Rift app or something like that and have it on you, and it helps you track location as far as...
the way I understand that is just if someone wants to find you and we have that data, all they have to do is ask.
Yeah.
We'll give it to them. Hey, where's this guy right now? He's right there.
Yeah.
Probably, as long as you just ask nice enough. I'm sure there's no fee involved.
But then there's dumb people that the permissions you get for apps when you go to the Google Play Store and you download Snapchat, and it's we need permission to use your camera, and then some people are like, what do they need to use my camera for? Are they going to spy on me? No, the app needs to use your camera so you can put a dumb puppy face on your face.
I just don't like that they don't say this in that same exact scenario. We need to access your camera. Great, I understand that. How come you don't add while you're using the app at the end of it? Because I said you can use my camera. That implies you can use my camera.
True.
That's what I don't like.
And just the same thing as if you gave that company access to your camera and you deleted that app, that company still has access to your camera because it's through your app permissions.
And
you don't even need that app on the phone anymore.
Yeah, that's
fair enough.
Yeah, that's fucking weird.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, just really weird. It's super creepy. And of course, if we didn't know, Oculus is owned by Facebook.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's the whole fucking thing there.
Getting zucked.
Mother Zucker.
Zucked. Oh my god.
Let's talk about that talk he had with the Congress.
Strange. Did we see it? Did we see the video I shared with it was entitled "Don't forget to drink water. Humans like water," and he there was another one where they added robot sounds to it, and he was like, boo, boo, boo. He's like,
Don't forget to drink the water.
It looks so strange. Like, there's no way you watch that and go, yeah, that's a human. It's just like, no matter, you're watching Mark Zuckerberg and you're like, oh, that's exactly how an alien would act if he was trying to convince everyone he was human.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. Oh my gosh.
It's so strange.
You basically had like Invader Zim.
Did you see that
on the stage?
H3 video.
I started watching it.
Towards the end, like, he's like, I can kind of see why he was kind of acting weird and nervous, because it showed like a shot from behind like his chair, and it was like him sitting there, and then there was like at least 60 photographers in front of him, like all taking his picture.
So weird.
I would be even worse than him. I would just
not me. I would just be like, this is fucking stupid, you guys.
I'm stealing your information.
To it. If you don't want it, you can use something else.
Yeah, there's
Go
the
back
uninstall
to MySpace. All right?
Back to MySpace.
I'm gonna drink this water like a fucking weirdo and go back to doing massive amounts of cocaine on my yacht. Please stop bothering me. I own all of you. Good day.
Good day.
Good day.
He had a booster seat too.
He had a booster seat?
Yeah, he had in his chair. He had like a little booster seat.
I see where he was, when he like first sat down, he was just like nodding at everyone. He was just like,
a lot of people photoshopped like
thanks for coming.
A booster seat with him and his wife, like at a Chili's or whatever, and he's just like had a bib on. He's like,
it's been zucked.
Yeah, that's cool.
That brings us right to our halfway point here. We're running a little bit behind here. We have a 16-tiered hero bracket where we've all chosen fictional heroes from comic books, movies, video games, what have you, shows, any kind of essentially fictional hero. We all chose 4, and they were placed randomly in these brackets, which I'm sure you're looking at now. We have our first week here. We got 2 battles. We got the first battle, the Hulk versus the Phoenix, which that should be a good one. Those are 2 fucking powerhouses right there.
Yeah, that's gonna be epic.
Whose pick was the Hulk?
And then we have Deadpool versus Voorhees down here, which we'll move into after the first fight. And essentially the way this will work is in a very similar to like a super fight fashion, where we'll pretty much go back and forth, and whoever's obviously the 2 people defending themselves will probably pick themselves as the winner, and then we'll have the other people vote to kind of finish out or round it out. We don't have anything planned for a tiebreaker, so
one has to be the winner.
One has to be the winner. We'll have to figure it out some way, somehow. Hopefully we don't come to that, and they're just clear and present winners for each of these.
It's not.
I believe Ray was the Hulk, and Brian chose the Phoenix.
Yes.
Oh, man.
I planned on winning the game.
So, we'll play it like this, just because we're kind of winging this. Hulk is on top of this bracket. We'll say Hulk has like a first. How does Hulk open up this super fight? What's happening here?
Hulk waits, probably.
Hulk waits.
Yeah. Yeah, because
Hulk skips turn.
Okay. Wait. Gives me a +1 boost to defense.
We should add like a
D&D strength.
Yeah, like a dice would roll.
Roll
like,
the dice.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like Hulk waits.
No, if he's already Hulk and not Bruce Banner, then he can attack. But
he's Hulk. I mean,
he's already pissed off. He's the Hulk.
We didn't choose Bruce. We choose.
Well,
Hulk.
I think Hulk probably in that case just kind of like leaps at the
Smash.
Phoenix. Yeah, does his thing. And just like fucking jumps at her going like 700 miles an hour and pile drives her in the face.
Comes in with a big double axe handle. How does the Phoenix handle that?
Oh, and then the Phoenix just goes.
How does she block him?
She doesn't block him. She stops him in midair.
She has telekinesis.
She does.
Telekinesis?
Yeah.
So she just could just literally hold him there forever. Literally go about her business, and he would just be stuck there in the air forever.
Right. So now we got the Hulk suspended in the air, and Phoenix doing the dishes while he's stuck there.
Well, I think because Phoenix that does take energy to hold him there.
She 50s
and as he's being held there, I'm sure that more than probably anything would piss the Hulk off. Him feeling like he can't do anything.
Yeah, Hulk
so
angry.
he's gonna get angrier and angrier and angrier at an exponential rate. And I think holding him there with telekinesis through that amount of time is gonna keep sucking at her energy
for sure.
And sooner or later, she's gonna have to let go of the telekinesis.
Okay.
And at that point, Hulk is gonna be really
unlimited
pissed.
energy.
What's that?
Yeah, but we'll get to that. We'll play along.
Okay.
If we're going with just Phoenix, Phoenix has limitless power, but not limitless energy. They're not the same thing.
Okay.
So anyway, it gets too intense for her. Yeah. So she lets him go for a while. Meanwhile, she's like miles away doing the dishes somewhere, because that's what he said. She's now done with the dishes, though.
50s apron. Some buns.
So a bunch of time has passed, and then the Hulk finds her again.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And the Hulk, that's what happened in
Sometime
Brian's turn. She finished the dishes, and some time has passed.
Where is this battle taking place?
It doesn't matter anymore.
It does matter.
It's in a hyperbolic time chamber. We've agreed upon.
So there's no...
Okay, so
can't
she's
throw
miles away
anything.
doing the dishes in this
how
hyperbolic
many
time
miles?
chamber.
There's dishes in this hyperbolic time chamber.
It doesn't matter.
It does
He's
matter.
there now.
No, it does matter.
She was 2 miles away.
She was 2 miles away. All right, I've done some research, and it shows
some research.
Yeah, that Hulk's
While you were
maximum-
finishing that sentence, I did some research.
No, Hulk's maximum speed is about 700 miles an hour, 770 miles per hour. So even if she was 2 miles away, it would only take him seconds to get there.
A jump or two.
A jump, yeah. He can
Probably
jump.
a jump,
He can clear entire oceans with a jump. So
Okay.
if she's only a couple miles away, then
Okay, well,
that's
perfect.
fine.
So he jumps over to her,
Yeah.
and she just like reads his mind and sees that he's on his way.
Oh,
The Hulk
Hulk smash,
actually-
you say?
Yeah.
Okay, let me move a little bit. So he lands there.
Hulk doesn't
The
smash.
Hulk has the ability. He has so many personalities of the Hulk, including Bruce Banner, that no hero has ever been able to actually read his mind. Not even Professor X.
I didn't know that.
So it is not necessarily defined at whether or not
fight is
Jean
on.
Grey could do it. Maybe she could, but it's never been tested. So
Okay,
we don't know for sure if
probably,
she could.
but let's say not for this because we don't have canon to go back on. So essentially, she doesn't read his mind, but she hears him yelling on the way because if he's leaping that far, he's yelling.
He's making noise just from the air resistance of his body.
True.
I mean, he's probably sonic booming on his way there.
Well, needless to say, like I mean, we could go all day with this analogy, but it's really she catches him again and just pulls his atoms apart.
Pulls his atoms apart.
Just skip right to the end.
All right, that's fine. Hulk can actually, within seconds, regenerate his body, even at maximum
I've
destruction.
never heard this before in my life.
Yeah.
Does anyone, can we confirm this?
He regenerates as fast as Wolverine does.
He actually regenerates much
We're
faster
looking
than
at me.
Wolverine.
Am I looking this up?
This is news to me. We're looking over
'Cause
at the
Wolverine-
judges.
Judges.
Sorry.
The Hulk's regenerating abilities are impossibly strong. He can regrow his head even when it's cut off. I had no idea.
Yeah, so even if, like, how Wolverine can be, he can be affected, his brain's affected, his regrowth can be affected, the Hulk can't. So he's basically, you can blow him up and he can come back.
So she just takes him and puts him in the center of a star, and he just eventually gets too pissed at that star, so she just puts him in another star. I mean...
Basically, I guess is what I'm getting at. If he ever touched her in this infinite battle of forever, if she fucked up one time and he laid any sort of physical damage upon her, she's not invincible.
Yes, she is.
No, she's not invincible. She would definitely take physical damage. She's not immune to physical damage.
Phoenix is a force. It's not...
That's an ability she has, Phoenix Force. That's not... Like, the character of the Phoenix itself is still a physical being.
That can use Phoenix Force.
Yeah, they can use Phoenix Force, but then it doesn't matter, because the Hulk could always regenerate from it.
But it also depends on the universe from this.
Hyperbolic time chamber.
Because apparently Wolverine killed him once by just slitting his throat with his claws. But then it says, like, he was devoured down to his bones, but then came back to life, so it's crazy.
Right. So I guess it depends on what canon you're using.
Yeah, but
for sure.
We'll just go with the regenerated one, for sure.
Let's say, so she melts or pulls apart his atoms, and he regenerates.
Yeah.
And then she pulls apart his atoms, and he regenerates. I'd say that's a loss for the Hulk.
Probably.
You're just constantly getting your shit.
Right, but at the
the
same time, she's gonna keep using energy to do it, and she's gonna
Eventually
gotta
run
tire out
out.
eventually, where the Hulk has nearly limitless stamina.
Well, in the comics, pretty much, even if she was the good Phoenix, not the bad Phoenix, or the Phoenix Force.
What if she's River Phoenix?
Guaking Phoenix.
Guaking!
Quite literally, all she would have to say is "go to sleep," and it would be over. He would sleep.
But that
and how much
is
effort
that
does that
but what is that? How does that happen? Is that because of a mind control thing?
Yeah.
Because if so, we've pretty much already said that wouldn't happen to the Hulk.
Oh, yeah.
You already said that.
Well, I
that
said
would
if there was
happen
no
to the
canon, I did say that. But
That's true.
We'll ignore that.
The time is up. The super fight has concluded.
Okay.
I'm gonna add in a few more facts real quick here.
What the fuck is that?
I gotta add some more. Hulk is also able to
Let's go to the
adapt
judges.
to any
Stan Lee.
environment. So if he is in the water or in space, doesn't need to breathe. So he's completely immune. He can jump basically from like planet to planet through space, and he's fine. So even if he were destructed in the vast openness of space, he'd be completely fine. You just come back.
I'm just gonna guess you guys are on your own sides on that one.
Oh,
so
for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
1-1.
So I guess we have to be the tiebreakers on this. I'm gonna have to go with the Phoenix, just because. I mean, the Hulk obviously can probably live through anything that she throws at him, and I don't know. It just seems like she can get her energy back, like pull the atoms apart, and then just like go somewhere really far away. But even if he can jump that close, I don't know. I don't really have much of a reason, but Phoenix.
Where you going with that, Rob?
If you make it a tiebreaker, god damn it.
That's a good fight.
That was a good fight. I didn't know half this stuff about the Hulk, so that's pretty cool.
So
I like the Hulk better than Phoenix for sure, so that was just a hard answer for me. Come on, Molasses Jones over here.
I think we're gonna have to go with the Hulk, man.
God damn it.
Just I can't see the Hulk go out in the first fight. It's like the most powerful motherfucker ever. Well, so is the Phoenix. So that's a tough one, but
they should have been on different sides of the bracket.
Yeah,
and it would probably end up.
Wasn't she? What was her big? Like
really
what was the big downside to Phoenix? I remember is like she was like I thought she was like like she was able to be damaged like while she was in that form, like she could get super fucked up. Was like the only downside was like someone got to her, they could really fuck her up, but the chance of that happening was like super small. That's what I thought. Was like she was insanely vulnerable while she was the Phoenix. That's what I thought.
I'm not
but I was
really sure.
like, if that was the case, I'm sure like the Hulk could eventually land something. And
No.
that's kind of what I'm putting my money on. Like if he landed one hit one time, it would pretty much end it.
Yeah, but I don't think that he would ever land that one hit.
Does the Hulk also have a big throbbing member?
Yes.
Why? Why is it?
Why not? I'm curious.
How does that affect his battle?
Does he?
Does it sure? If it distracts her,
I'm changing my vote to the Hulk. End of battle. The Hulk wins.
Just, unzips that Phoenix a little bit, and all the blood rushes to his head or his dick, and he just passes out, and that's it. Got that Hulk erection. No givesies, backsies here. How are we gonna do this tiebreaker? Are we just gonna flip a
coin, roll a dice?
I thought I just made it done.
No takesies, backsies.
No takesies, backsies. Is it gonna go by a coin flip?
Might as well.
Do a coin flip by Google.
Okay.
I don't know how I feel about that. Like, as much as we shit on these guys, we're gonna let them determine the validity of.
Let's
our
just
fucking...
use this thing that Rob has.
Yeah, I like the beer koozie. I feel like that is probably less impartial.
That's a koozie. It's like a coaster. Just got really full.
It is a terrible way to decide it, but this is what we got on short notice. We got the Hall of Foam.
Can we consider canon real quick? Like,
Well,
I haven't
sure.
done the research to see if them two has fought yet.
Sure.
Okay, give me just a second.
I'm sure they.
I looked before I came over here. I couldn't find any place where they really fought.
All right, we'll go ahead and flip it then.
All right, we'll say the Hall of Foam will be Hulk. Hulk will foam. The other side will be Food Spirits Phoenix. All right. The winner is Hulk.
Told you.
Hulk moves on.
Throbbing member.
This contest is a joke.
Oh, by
Fake
goddamn coin
news.
flip. We'll just flip a bunch of coins and go by that then.
Yeah, fucking Russia.
So next up, well, again, we'll try to
wild.
make this quick. I think we're already at.
Holy shit.
Yeah, we're going long. So we'll try to keep this within 5 minutes here. The next we have me and Ryan with Deadpool and Jason. I bet
God damn it.
you can probably guess who chose which, but if not,
I chose Deadpool.
He's got Jason. I got Ryan Reynolds.
Both regenerative, basically. Well, not really.
He just give me some info here before we start fighting here.
My God.
Like what kind of he has? I know he has a sawtooth comb. I know he's got a very small blade, and that's it. What else he got?
Sawtooth comb.
Go ahead. He's got the machete, and he's like also several people. Been over the years. Has been like him, his mom, his niece, his nephew.
Not really, but he's been different. Like I don't know.
Turn Ryan into the Hulk.
He looked
so pissed off. He's the one with the claws, right?
You son of a bitch!
Just flips his laptop.
He's like a zombie. I don't know. He's lived through water. A SWAT team blew him up, and his heart crawled around in the ground, and he jumped into bodies. So he
His
can't
heart
really
jumped
be.
into bodies?
Yeah, like Jason 9, he basically did that. He survived hell.
His heart like jumped into someone's mouth, and then like
Yeah, like his heart would like
had a little machete.
throb to a beat, and it basically hypnitized whoever, and then they just ate the
was
heart.
Was the beat B.I.G. hypnotized?
No.
Oh.
No, not at all. You son of a bitch.
God damn it. All right, well, I got first draw here, and
okay. Let's start off that battle real quick.
The first draw is going to be just a fucking 50 caliber pistol shot right at your face.
Okay.
Right at your face.
Which I'm sure he's had before.
Basically, head gone, 50 cal for sure. Then his heart just jumps into the nearest body near him and just regenerates as well. Actually, no, I lie. It would have to be a family member, so you probably killed him.
And that was anticlimactic.
Puts the gun in the holster and moves on.
Says a quip.
I just kept on thinking of how fast Deadpool, like, his regenerative skills are pretty slow, but he can still pretty regenerate from, like, a small thing. Jason survived so many different times, but, like, basically, once his head's been gone in most of his films, like, he had to go into another family member to become Jason again. But technically, I could have jumped into another body and became somebody else that can battle you at that same strength, but it would just last forever. And
until there's no more bodies. Would he jump into Deadpool's body?
I don't know. I think
that might be the end-all move.
How's he gonna get through that mask, though?
Imagine his heart has
a little machete.
There you go.
Just cuts it up. Well, it did have claws at some point, so maybe it tears through the nylon of his mask. But
well, then also Deadpool does have the regenerative powers as well.
Yeah, I mean, both of them are very similar, honestly, in very different scenarios and stuff. But Jason really only has limited weapons. How many weapons can Deadpool pull out? He has like 2 pistols. He's got the katana swords.
Yeah, he's got the pineapple surprises.
Yeah,
he's basically every Ninja Turtle.
Yeah, he's got the chimichangas.
Yeah, if
throwing tacos at him.
Yeah,
you know he would.
I mean, one's got superpowers, superhuman. Jason is, but he's been killed a few times, and he's had to be brought back to life by lightning and a bunch of other things, by Psychic Girl, and
Psychic Girl.
Yeah, so Deadpool wins that for sure. I'm just gonna conclude that.
Winner.
Yep.
Deadpool.
Unless they both choose Jason, then
why could I be against like Rick? You can put me against Deadpool.
We got Rick next week. I just kind of chose these randomly to make sure we were all in each week, so I really didn't have a whole lot going on.
I thought it was actually kind of a good lineup.
Yeah,
the way it looks so far. It looks like everyone is.
Well, that means we got Deadpool Hulk next. Oh, I guess not next week, but in a few weeks there when we loop back around.
Yeah, week 5 we got Deadpool Hulk.
Yeah, Deadpool Hulk. That'll be a good one.
That's gonna be fun.
Week 2 we've got good old Rick Sanchez, Vision.
Yep.
Them 2 pairing off. And we also have Gandalf versus Freddy.
That's gonna be so crazy.
Some good ones in there.
All right, that's next week.
We kept it within the time there.
Yep.
So let's move in right along.
Family-friendly topic here.
To Family Feud.
It's the longest song in the world.
It's fucking God, what's his face from
Jizzed
Silicon
in
Valley?
His pants.
Nukes.
Yeah, let's talk about some bullshit, guys. So,
Remind me to cancel my Ambien subscription. I need to fucking sleep.
Oh shit!
Fuck you, Rick.
That's what you get.
Just got nuked.
Hopefully that's not a. Damn, I should have put Light Yagami in my fucking. Fuck.
Why do you need a whole collection of toys? You just rob Toys R Us.
I was going to also do a last minute switch out to Adam Warlock.
This just went from Nukes to you playing with your toys over here. I really wish I got that one sweet action.
It's starting it off so
It's
much
getting
better.
triple X right now.
God.
The Rick and Morty sex tape.
We know how they feel about the nukes. How do you feel, Ray?
Well, it's not even just nukes in general. It's just war at this point in time.
My topic's nukes, but it's not nukes.
Yeah, it's nukes, it's war, it's the geopolitics, geopolitical struggle and dominance and
Geothermal energy.
geothermal energy, of course. You got that good old Yellowstone just getting ready to burst any point in time. It's all crazy, man. But what we can control and what we can't control, I guess, is what I want to look at here. We're going to focus more on the geopolitical stuff than the geothermal at the moment. There's just so many nukes in the world right now. There's close to like 15.
How many nukes are there, Ray?
15,000 nukes.
And how many
It's
of
a
those
couple.
were ours?
It was
Personally?
like 40,
The four of us?
4,000. Oh, we only got 12.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Stock prices aren't
I
doing
only
it.
knew about 2.
Huh? You have 2?
I said I only knew about 2.
Well, don't worry
There's
about
10
it.
more.
Okay?
Well, there's 10
I
more.
mean, 2 is all I need anyway.
There's 10 more. Just the amount of... Nothing about it really impresses me. The amount of money that's spent on it.
You
the
want
amount
more
of people.
nukes. 15,000 is not impressive to Ray.
No, it's
Nothing
not.
about that impresses
Yeah,
me.
we need 50,000 nukes. No, it's...
50,000 didgeridoos.
I can't wait till someone in the future takes this video out of context and there's a picture or a video of me online being like, we need 50,000 nukes.
This guy said,
When you're
Thanks,
running
Alex
for
Jones,
office.
for throwing me in your videos. But no, it's really sad to see that amount, the limitless budget we have for military spending and just war in countries that haven't attacked us or done anything to hurt Americans, and them selling all of it as if it's in the best interest of Americans and
or the world. They just speak for the world. They're
oh
like,
yeah, and it's
they're
terrible.
bad. Let's throw some Tomahawk missiles at them.
Yeah, it's just
Just tomahawk some.
That's where they got their name, Tomahawk missiles. some
They're just
some
shaped
giant
like
Zords.
tomahawks. Just a big ass fucking trebuchet just launches it.
You also shared this this graph with us a little bit earlier, and just saying how much of your life
We've been
the
at war,
US has been at war.
It's insane.
Pretty much be all of it for all of us here at the table.
Yeah, we're
Well, you're like
we're
40s.
we're 60% and up for sure. 60 to 70 would be us.
We pretty much said we've been in war for...
Sorry, it'd be like 55 and up.
What is it good for?
absolutely everything. It's
Sing it again!
the foundation of our country.
James Brown Ghost took over Brian over there.
I mean, everybody
Definitely.
2001
That's-
and later have literally never
I know.
experienced life without.
A whole generation
Well,
of
even
just...
before that, like what was it before that? It was like a very, very brief stint where it was just like there was 37 minutes where you weren't at war.
No.
And then it went right back into
even
it
if
again.
you were born, I believe that infographics, which is not for some reason showing up for me right now. If you go all the way back to like 1915, I still think it's in like the 30 percentile range. If you were born in 1915.
It was mid 80s was 55, and I'm watching it load again.
Okay.
way too much war.
Yeah, war's bad. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And I don't know. It's just amazing how everybody just knows it's bad, doesn't like it. All over the world, no one's really, like personally, I think war should be reserved for basically two things: self-defense, in which case, I mean, you didn't really start the war, you just happen to be at war. So self-defense and video games. I really love war video games, but that's just because that competition sporting environment is a lot more fun than real people getting blown away.
Yeah.
That's just
well, one could also argue that that's just, like prepping kids for wanting to do it in like a real life scenario.
I can tell you this: I love me some destroying the fuck out of some AI and other human player video games.
I never want to do it in real life.
I don't ever want to go to war.
No,
ever. And so I don't buy that for a fucking second. I think that explanation is bullshit, and I think that's just.
Well, I mean, whether
propaganda.
you want to or not, it could be still essentially giving you some sort of subconscious training.
Like if it ever happened. I mean, the draft still exists.
If for some reason you've never seen a gun before in your life, and all of a sudden there was someone running at you and you saw a gun, if you played enough war games, you would know, oh, here's the clip, put it in, make sure the safety's off, and let's roll.
Maybe. If it's someone who's never touched a gun before, I don't think it would actually go that smoothly at all, ever, especially if it was that was their first encounter and someone's already attacking them. I don't think they'd be able to do it.
I mean, I guess if we're talking about like an 8-year-old, maybe no, but if you take like an adult who's like, oh, I've seen...
Who can stay calm under pressure anyway.
This is my favorite fucking gun in Battlefield. I know how to use this fucking gun to a T.
Can't even figure out how to rack the first bullet in because there's someone running at him with a knife 20 feet away.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think the hours of playing Battlefield is gonna
it's not gonna turn into a murder machine, but you're gonna pick that up and
I think it would
at
help
least
you.
be familiar with.
I think it would help
this
you a little bit.
This is the business
bit,
end, and I point it there, and I squeeze this.
Sure, I don't know if it would be even in an actual situation. I don't think it would help out a whole lot as far as going into a training program. I think it would help, but I don't think it would help out in real world like that was your only training.
I don't know, maybe like a M870 shotgun. You'd be like, oh, I know where the fucking bullets go. As opposed to someone who's never seen one be like, I don't know what to do with this, and just run away from it. You'd pick it up, you'd know where the bullets go, you'd know how to cock it, and you know how to fucking shoot it. I mean, whether that was from Battlefield or not.
Oh, maybe a little bit, but I don't think it's not going to translate to a whole lot of real world
I think we're talking
about
two different
as well.
things
You'd
here.
be like, oh, I better lead these bullets because I've been here before.
I think we're talking about the fact that training, essentially, is what we're doing, is going to make us better in battle. But I think you're talking about the fact that it's not going to help you overcome killing another person or the frightness of the fight or flight instinct.
Exactly, that's what I'm talking about. That real life, real being there, all of that. Sure, you might understand a little bit how to use the weapon, but I still don't think you're going to be any more effective just because you've never been in that situation.
I think that's just going to base on whoever that person is. Like, I'd be willing to bet that I would stay calm under pressure for sure.
I think I'd be staying calm under pressure too, but I think me staying calm under pressure would probably be me still, depending on whether or not, because you literally, unless you're familiar with that weapon, you don't know if it's loaded or not just by picking it up.
Let me ask you this question.
I'd be more willing to use it as a bat to hit somebody.
But I would know how to check.
If you got time.
Yeah, well, sure.
Take this scenario. You're standing there 30 yards away from 10 targets. Would you, having only experienced games, let's say, be able to, you think you'd be better at hitting those 10 targets as opposed to someone who's like, I've never held a gun, I never played a game?
Yes, I do. For sure.
But you can stop, guys.
No, but if, again, those weren't targets and those were real living being real, people.
I'm just
shooting
saying.
at
I'm just trying to say it's got to help at some level.
I think I think it would help.
Whether it's like you're the guy that's going to run away or not, like there's got to be something there. There's got to be. I mean, if you got 10 full years of murdering people with guns digitally, like that's got to somehow translate into something. Not for everyone, but for some people, sure. Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
Especially in an extreme combat situation, after you've got over that first combat situation, like. Once you have done it, I feel like it would be easier. I've never done it, so I don't know for sure, but I feel like it would probably get easier the more you do it, the more you get into those types of situations, and the knowledge, let's say, like to take a look around a corner before you actually jump out real fast. You know different tactics. I mean,
like strafing, you're definitely going to use that in real life when you're trying to shoot.
Serpentine.
But also, for example, that like if I'm trying to kill somebody that's like running that way to lead the bullets, or if I'm trying to run and I'm trying to shoot somebody, I have a better shot at shooting them if I stand still for a second, or whatever. I mean, it's just
you'll be able to tell if like while you're running, someone's shooting at you. You can tell what kind of games they play.
Yeah,
this guy's not leading the bullets. He plays Call of Duty. This guy's gonna be easy.
That's hilarious.
Back to nukes for a second, though. Shit or get off the pot. Use them or let's get rid of them.
Pot or get off the
Just
shit.
end this shit now or fucking get rid of them.
Do it, you pussies. Bring them to me. I'll do it for you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You bring them to me, I'm deactivating them all, because life is awesome, man. Why the fuck would we want to end it? And 15,000 nukes is way too much.
And one nuke is way too much, man.
Well, one nuke, sure, yeah. I mean, we should
Especially
just not have any of them.
If there was some sort of something beyond our planet, I feel like nukes would be one of those things where, like, we're not even gonna talk to them till they get rid of that shit. They have no idea what's going on their planet.
Right.
All they're worried about is, like, how many people can we kill with one weapon. Like, they have the wrong idea. We're not letting them in.
Right.
Or they have the right idea, and we're going to visit them right away.
I think that would have happened
a long time ago.
long time
And
ago.
maybe it did.
I don't think
maybe it
anything
did.
that has the ability to travel from star systems to star systems gives a fuck about our nuclear weapons because they already have way more power than we do.
Or maybe they don't.
do.
Maybe they just know
found
how to
another
build
way.
those ships
I
and
would
they don't know how to
imagine they
build
would have,
weapons.
like,
If you can go
evolved
star system
beyond
to
it.
star system,
Like,
yeah.
they don't.
Maybe that's
they
just
don't
their
need-
abilities.
They don't need that kind of
Like,
power,
my abilities are
because there's no
pool. Maybe
No,
there's
evil
it's an
force that
intention
requires
thing.
it.
Yeah, like you can take anything and weaponize it. Like, and it doesn't take a whole lot of intelligence to be able to do that. You could take a pedal bike and turn it into something that launches shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it doesn't take that much brains to do something like that. So, like, somebody who has the
ifs
ability to
is
build...
so much, though. Like,
What do
there's
you
so
mean?
many different ifs.
If something has the ability to build a fucking
Well, did you ever see the
spaceship that does...
Why do aliens need spaceships?
the
though?
invention of lying?
to explore. Why do people...
Maybe they just
need-
can live in space.
Because like maybe
they can,
that
like,
civilization
the
doesn't
dude-
know what war is.
the
Maybe
dude
they
will-
don't physically harm one another. Maybe they don't have weapons.
I think if they
Maybe-
get to that level, they don't physically harm one another because they have
For
such
sure.
potential for
That's what I'm
destruction
saying.
that
Like,
they
they've
can easily
evolved
destroy
beyond-
everyone.
Like, murder's not even like a thing.
Yeah.
so
don't
they,
even, like-
they don't need to make weapons anymore because
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it just doesn't happen.
We've
anymore.
evolved to a point where just like
We're past that.
no one murders anymore.
Yeah, that's pointless.
Remember
silly.
that when the aliens invade. Maybe they're nice.
So let's just nuke
I mean,
them.
chances are they would be nice. I mean, at this point, they would probably have done some pretty fucked up shit.
Well, I think it's
Maybe
the
they
old, kind of the old adage too.
Or we're like the Louisiana of the
even if they
fucking universe, and they're like, oh, let's not visit there.
All you're doing
All
is
I'm saying is if
fucking each other.
if an alien comes to Earth, let them shoot first.
we're not letting Mark Zuckerberg shoot first.
I don't want to be responsible for throwing a nuke at them and they were here for peace.
No, that would be.
well, at the same rate, do you want to be responsible for throwing a missile at another country? Let alone aliens, someone who lives on the same planet as you. Do you want to be responsible for that?
I mean, we are
Me?
kind of overpopulated, so
I would
fuck 'em.
much
No, I'm just
I would much rather be responsible for if that happens, because I would just deactivate the nukes.
right, but I'm saying, all right.
Do I want
let's
to pull
just
the trigger or
directly
push
say
the
what really
button?
happened. We just bombed the fuck out of Syria. Do you like being responsible for the fact that our government launched?
Just murdered a bunch
you
of
know.
innocent kids, most likely.
Yeah, just like, ended the life of people, even if they weren't innocent. Who cares? What did they do to us?
What
You
is
know
a
what I mean?
bad guy and what is a good guy? That's another weird line.
Right.
There is
Yeah.
none.
Well, let's ask you another question. Like, 'cause I did a little bit of research, but with all the different agendas of different media places,
sure.
I don't know for sure what happened,
Right.
or what intel we actually had when we did that. Was it rash? Yeah, probably.
I have a ranch.
It was maybe a little overkill, but let's base it back down a little bit. If you had a dude getting ready to shoot a baby, would you shoot that dude first?
I'd shoot the baby.
All right. Now, for
Clean it
me,
up.
for me to have had this happen, to be in this scenario, I would have to be in that same location as said dude
Yes.
to view and witness this.
Yeah.
So yes, but that's not the case.
But if
You know,
we have
that's-
the
what if that's a
information that
baby
people
Hitler?
are dying because of this, and if we do this, they won't die anymore.
Yeah, but where's the? I haven't seen any.
Neither
proof
have
of
I.
that.
I'm just saying.
See, that's the thing. If somebody would have provided me, like, here's a timestamp video that clearly has not been tampered with. This is really what happened. Here's this list of people in this hospital that's being treated for chemical burns. We've got their names. We've got their their birth dates. We talked to them. You know what I mean? We have transcripts of recordings of conversations we had with these people that were wounded during this attack. And according to other, our government says that they have, proof, just like they had proof of weapons of mass destruction. They had proof that the Vietnamese fired on our warships in the Gulf of Tonkin, and all this proof that they've had multiple times before of an attack that happened. But now the Russians say, yeah, we actually went and investigated ourselves. Like, we sent a third party in there to investigate, and you guys didn't even let us conclude our investigation for you bombed the shit out of them, first of all. And second of all the things that we found that it was not true, that there was actually nothing that happened.
Yeah, they probably just bombed it to cover up the fact that there was nothing going on. They're just like, oh, these warehouses have the chemical weapons.
Well, let's flip the script and say
and John Kerry also said, our person also said that
wait.
Assad didn't have chemical weapons multiple years ago.
You said John Kerry, our person.
Yeah. I'm saying an American said that, an American government official said that Assad didn't have nuclear weapons, and that was years ago. And they haven't had the capabilities to make them since. So, not only that, when you keep adding on layers, like the fact that they're in the middle of a civil war right now, and if he had chemical weapons capabilities, wouldn't he be using them on his opposition versus his own people? Why would he do that? Because he knows that would do nothing but incite the rage of people like America. Like, it makes absolutely no sense, even from a tactical standpoint, let alone a moral standpoint. So at no...
If you do it at home, you can clean up the mess before it's trackable, I guess, provable. Maybe.
I mean,
nukeable.
Everybody's got just as there's too many nukes in the world. There's a cell phone. I mean, everybody can record everything. You would think there would have been one video of that chemical attack getting out. One video.
America needs a taste of war on their own soil.
I mean, if that chemical attack killed everybody.
Think, unfortunately, we're probably gonna lose all of our viewers from this. But I don't think America understands anymore, because I think only I think the statistic is 7 or 8% of Americans actually volunteer for armed service and have to go over and endure that. So if you have less than 10% of the population that ever has to see war, and everyone else have never tasted war, never tasted famine, never really tasted disease. I mean, we have little pockets, things happen, Flint, but as far as overall standards of living go, this is the best time ever to be alive, bar none. It is the safest, best, most beautiful time ever. Yeah. And we don't really understand what living in a war-torn country is, or what it feels like, or even
though we've been in war for the last 115 years, and the main perpetuator of war all around the globe, it's just never been here.
Yeah, it's just always us going to some country with brown people, and we're like, let's bomb them.
Yeah, and
shitty.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane. And then beyond that, what happens after a war is, American defense contractors get to go in there and get rich off of rebuilding the very thing that they got rich off of blowing up.
I see the stock prices.
Wildest dreams.
Yeah.
Beyond your wildest
Stocks
dreams.
for all those companies shot up after we did that missile attack. I forget the companies like Boeing and everything.
Yeah.
It's so ridiculous.
It's hilarious. The fact that it's not hidden anymore is what blows my mind. Eisenhower warned us of the dangers of the military-industrial complex, whether warranted or unwarranted, and that was 65 years ago.
Right.
And
people just don't give a shit.
The problem. It's crazy.
Use them, you pussies, or shut them down.
Yeah, use them or shut them down. We're sick of having this conversation. Yeah. And the other thing that really bothers me is the fact that I believe there are a lot of puppets installed. For example, our president,
especially Kermit,
just a couple weeks ago said that he wasn't going to invade Syria ever. We were about to draw all of our troops out, and then this event happened. So, when is someone lying? When aren't they lying? I don't know. But I same with the previous president. Obama tried to close Guantanamo Bay for 8 years,
right.
And it's still open today. So
I think legitimately he probably wanted to, but they're
that's what I'm saying.
Nope.
Exactly. And I think legitimately our president really did want to leave Syria, and really did want to bring his troops home, and really did want to make America great again, whatever the fuck that means. But there's someone else that's in control that we don't ever get to hear about. The people who shot Kennedy.
It's been a puppet for a long time.
I mean, if you don't go along,
one of the last.
I think he was our last actual true president that we had that was fuck you, we're making America good for real.
I laugh if that whole Kennedy getting assassinated, like most likely it was the government or somebody the mob or whatever. It'd be so funny if it was just like a hooker he slept with. It was like the husband to that hooker, and then like everybody just thinks it's something deeper, and it's just just a pissed off husband.
Me out $150, piece of shit president.
Just the pimp trying to get his money back.
Steal shit
Oh
back.
my god.
Literally.
And then that's the fact that none of the people who ever claim war is like the answer are ever the people who end up going and fighting the war in the first place. They just never even...
It's...
To change the topic just a little bit as well, do you think it's acceptable for the military to go to high schools to recruit? Do you think the high schools are too early to...
I absolutely do. I used to see some of the fucked up shit that... I'm sure we've all done it and seen it where they just come in and they're just like...
Especially
hey, we'll pay for like your college and all those worries you have right now being a young impressionable.
Right.
We got all the answers to all the shit you need. All you do is you just sign this fucking this 8-year contract and you're there like, yeah, fuck social studies, and you're like signing these fucking binding contracts with your
terms of
parents
service.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily have a problem with that because I think, at that age you are very impressionable, but you're smart enough to know what you're getting involved in. I think you are. I mean,
No,
you should
not at
understand that you are.
College is sure, but high school, man, that's...
Yeah, like think of...
You should make up your mind where you want to go before you...
18-year-old? Like, if you're...
No, we're talking...
Like, I was 17 when I graduated.
14,
First time
I was
you
17
talked to
when
a
I
military
graduated
thing?
too. So, I mean, we're talking before you're able to smoke or drink or make any decisions or move out of your house, you've signed a 10 to 15-year contract with some sort of military service.
I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with what the military actually ends up getting used for. If it was actually defense and those people were fighting for a noble cause, I have no problem with it whatsoever. But the matter that they're just going to be, unfortunately, another gear in our endless wars and fucking our own terror organization, essentially, that's what I find bad. I don't think recruiting them at young ages is bad. I think that's necessary.
I had a couple of, they're just acquaintances, rather, that were in I knew them from high school, and both had pretty different experiences, but the one was, she signed a deal for so many years, it was like 7 years, then once that ended, signed it like another 5 years or something, so it was a long contract where you're just getting money every week, and essentially was just sitting there getting the money, using the money that they were paying her for her services, and she was just spending it right back at the base because it's hardly any money, and you still need all this stuff, and it's just like they're giving her this money, like, here you go, thanks for your service, and then they like just put a different hat on and go, we'll take that money right back, thanks for your service.
Yeah.
Here's your shitty food and shitty barracks. And
why'd she sign the other 5-year deal then?
I don't know.
Couldn't have been that bad.
Well, maybe they would
probably
pay
just get
raise.
You
used to
signed up for
habits.
7, you're like, I do another 5 of this bullshit.
But that's the thing. It's like why would they do that? Because they're like, oh, it's awesome, and it's like they get stuck in this thing where it's just like, I just have to be here, and I have this job I do.
Yeah, why is somebody the manager at Big Lots just because he's been there so long? He's like,
it's kind of like it's a similar thing, right? It's like, okay, you can go back out into the world now and maybe get a job at McDonald's with your military service. I mean, or you can sit here and we'll pay you a little more than that, and you don't have to do that anymore.
But that's not how everybody ends up. That's a personal decision.
That's very anecdotal. So I mean,
yeah. I think that's up to individuals. If you hate your fucking job, get a new job. Whether it's military or police, or whether or not you work at a retail location, or whether you work at a manufacturing job, if you don't fucking like it, get a different job.
Yeah.
There's plenty of them out there, or make your own job with
People
the internet now.
Right there with you, but you shouldn't have to sign a contract to be with a specific company for that long.
What do you mean?
Well, essentially, it's like the way it's like, we're gonna put you in this contract that you sign before you really understand what it means, and by the time you do understand what it means, we've put you in a point in your life where
we changed your perspective forever.
Your only option, really, if you want to make the same amount you were making being here, is you can sign up for another 5 years, and we'll take care of you. You don't have to worry about anything except giving that money back to us in the next 5 years, so we can essentially get your service for free, and also make profit off you because we're selling these at profit margins.
I mean, whoever that seems like a bad deal.
It does seem like a bad deal. So why are they doing it?
Why are they doing it? I don't know.
I think that's why. Is like they get you in this thing where it's just like you can't get out now.
Well, we do have to say a lot of people do it for the right reasons. A lot of people want to fight for their country and wholeheartedly believe in the flag and what it represents.
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
I bet there's like a very small percentage.
Well, I feel
Some
like
people
it's
just wanna
probably
see-
more than
Especially
half.
how many people that like actually see war come back and have a completely different
Oh yeah,
perspective
for
of
sure,
like,
for sure. If you see something,
no,
yeah.
we were just
Ruins them.
yeah, like it's just one thing when you think you're like fighting for freedoms and stuff, when it's like we're over here protecting fucking poppy fields and oil fields and murdering kids.
Yeah.
What are we fucking doing over here?
That's crazy.
Who are we here for?
Yeah, it just seems to me a lot of it is just. I mean, don't get me wrong. Not all of them have to do these jobs. Not all of them, and I would guess that the majority of them are signing up for noble reasons and are doing
so.
it. But
think
but the
a lot
bottom
of them are
line
doing
is
it for
the
a paycheck.
the commanding officer tells you what to do, and you do what the commanding officer tells you to do, and then he's got a boss, and he does what his boss tells him to do. And then that guy's got a boss. Eventually, at the top of the line, someone somewhere, shit rolls downhill.
Voldemort.
God damn it, Voldemort.
Heard you don't pronounce the T. But we're pushing a little over here actually, so we should wrap up here if we can.
All right.
If we got some final words, Nukes, I think we're all pretty much fucking launch them or get the fuck down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either end
watch
the
them all at
world
the same time.
today and let's stop living and worry of what these nukes can do, or
Be
get
like
rid
Doc-
of these motherfuckers and let's get serious about what we're gonna, do with the future of our planet if we want any of our future generations to actually be able to fucking live here
Yeah.
and enjoy life and prosper and have fun and
Or just learn to love the bomb.
or just
Dr. Strange.
fucking Mad Max. I'm down for that too. Both sound fun.
Well, what do we got? I think we had a couple more questions we're gonna tackle, or are we gonna move right into the?
We can if you want to.
Yeah.
There's a
Well,
there's,
let's kind of. I guess rather than like just because of the time crunch, like a would you rather, we can
yeah let's do
tackle
that.
these
Let's do
questions.
that.
or
Questions
just
for sure.
Discuss them here for
The
X amount of
questions
minutes.
before we do that.
Yeah.
All right.
Does
Pretty
anybody
much
have
I've
a
been
good
trying
rather?
to.
I didn't have like a fantastic.
Yeah, so
fantastic
we'll
one,
just
so we
end with
can-
the questions.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
just
let's
end
go with the
with
questions.
questions
That'll
here.
end it
because
up.
we're pushing a little long here.
Right on. Well, I've been squeaking them in when I can, just
Yeah.
when they
Squeak,
naturally happen,
sure.
anyways.
Oh, and by the way, I know Brian's about to start his questions, but if you've made it to this point in the video, thanks for sticking around. Remember to
Yeah,
like
we
and
appreciate
subscribe.
Or
Brian.
dislike and unsubscribe.
Or
You can
dislike
do
and
that, too.
unsubscribe. Yeah.
Just do something.
do something.
Just click the
Anything.
subscribe button so many times, forget how many times you did it, and leave it there.
Oh.
See what happens.
Subscribe roulette.
This one I probably could have squeaked in a little bit earlier. This one's are actors and athletes paid too much?
Fuck yes.
Yeah, I'd have
Way
to
too
say
much.
I would agree.
It's ridiculous. Fucking
I would say
Tiger Woods getting like 90 million.
athletes somehow, for some reason,
my
athletes
God.
more than actors.
I think both are way too overpaid. I love films. I don't like sports, but both of
Do you
them.
guys think they're overpaid, or do you think just everybody else in the world is underpaid?
It's probably the latter. But before we talk about the actual wage gap,
Yeah.
I think that well, let's talk about it this way. The NFL makes a shit ton of money.
So much.
So much fucking money. It's crazy. Who do you think should get the majority of that money?
Me.
The players.
Are they paid too much? I think that they
Yes.
should actually be paid a little bit more, or make NFL everything a little bit cheaper.
I think the camera
I think
operators.
that's the case. Is like everything at the NFL should probably be a bit cheaper.
I think
Yeah.
everything should be equal across the board. Like everybody from down to like the vendors to everybody that's like with the NFL and organizations, just same.
I disagree completely.
Yeah, I think the athletes should
That's
get
insane.
paid more than
No.
the people
Yeah.
not risking their
How many
lives.
hours a day do you have to? And yeah,
Well,
the
it's their
rest of your
fault.
life.
They
how
signed
many
up for
hours
it.
a day do you have to practice to be a hot dog vendor?
Hours.
I bet you if you didn't get paid that much, less people would sign up for it.
Dude, Helen Keller could show up and be a hot dog vendor.
I don't know.
I don't know. I want that mustard. I said mustard.
Oh God.
That's
well,
the mayonnaise.
let's bounce back,
Oh, that should be a
Let's
catchphrase right
bounce.
there.
a handful of years back and talk about fucking like it gets even worse when you start talking about college sports because they get paid nothing.
Yeah.
And those, I mean,
they
that's
still make a shit ton of money.
I mean,
Not them.
South Park,
maybe,
you
but
know,
People off them.
Yeah.
they poke fun at it and they were just like, how do you get away with not having to pay your slaves? And they were like, "Oh, you mean our student athletes?" And he's like, "Student athletes, that's genius."
So good.
And I mean that's just so true, though. I mean, you got a predominantly black team sitting there playing and making nothing. In fact, a lot of these guys are sleeping in their cars eating ketchup sandwiches, and they're making just millions upon millions of dollars, the organization. And yet you got people here that they're like threatening to kick them out of class, and they're like, "I haven't eaten in 3 weeks, but you guys are over here cashing $60 million checks because of me," essentially.
Yeah.
I just gets even worse.
Yeah.
It gets even worse. I mean, then you got predominantly white people filling up the stadiums, watching these predominantly black teams make all this money, and it's just like, what are you gonna do?
No.
What are you gonna do?
Overpaid for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're gonna get into that. I mean, you should spread the wealth there. I mean, if they're gonna be the ones, making this money for the organization that they're representing, there's got to be something better than just you get nothing and you get to sleep in your car and eat shit for the rest of your life.
I think that definitely. I mean, their tuition's already pretty much paid for, right?
In most of those scenarios.
Okay, so why not just add room and board to the list and good to go?
I mean, even then, we're still talking about like
how much
$500 a month when you're over here cashing $60 million checks every month. And I'm pulling that number strictly out of the air. I'm sure
also
it's
how much
more
tuition
than that.
I mean, they're getting their tuition paid.
That also costs too much, though. I mean, everything costs too much. Let's be honest. That everything at the NFL, you go buy a jersey, a ticket, college tuition, the everything in this world that we live in costs too damn much. I mean,
the cost of rent is too damn high.
It is. The cost of a brand new truck, to buy a brand new truck, you aren't going to touch it for less than $50,000. That's insane. My parents bought their house for less than that. Like back in the day, a house that lasts forever.
Or you're just too poor. I think everything's affordable.
Not even to get in the whole fucking thing about all the stadiums being paid for with tax dollar money. I mean, that's just fucking crazy.
Right, and then private companies
you charge us for
it to even
then you're gonna make us build it, then charge us to get in, and charge us to drink water in there, and then charge us to sit down and walk around. And
charge us to stare at it when
we
drive by.
Stare at it. Yeah, it's just like. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I think the bottom line is, of everything we've talked about tonight, it's time for people to get together, real life human beings. Stop waiting on government. Stop waiting on the NFL. Stop waiting on legislation. Stop waiting on whoever there is, and we need to figure out a way to do something to have our voice heard, to actually matter. Sure. I was thinking about this the other night.
You can end up just like your John Lennons, your Martin Luther Kings, your Malcolm X's.
Super positive outcome like that.
Yeah, we all just gotta say what we're thinking.
If you guys can come up with a solution, let us know in the comments.
What else you got over there, Brian? Anything else?
Oh, I do have one more.
All right, let's close it off with one more. I'm sure it's going to be something super lighthearted. It's going to make us all smile and just love our lives. So what do we got?
All right. This one we're going to say with a smile on our face. Should animals be used for research?
Oh, shit.
They did get researched last week because of their farts, so why not?
Fair enough.
This is one of those things where it feels like you should, obviously not just throw hazardous chemicals on people and hope nothing happens, so there should be something. But I think we find out with most animal studies that animals do not react in the same way that humans do in almost zero instance. When they put something on a rat, will it have the same effects as it does on a human? So it's one of those things where I don't know.
Sometimes, but not all the time.
I know it's like we can't just throw them on. Well, I guess we could. Let's just start throwing it on babies instead.
I guess this is the way I look at it.
Test it all on babies.
Very simply, is like, if I wouldn't do it to my dog, I wouldn't do it to any other animal for testing.
I think we should just do the testing specifically on people's pets, specifically dogs. Your dog.
Okay. that got crazy fast.
All of them.
Y'all ain't getting any new products this year. Sorry.
But yeah, I mean, that's they always test shit on rats, and in almost no scenario does anything ever react to a rat. Well, it's going to be the same way in a human. There's nothing that reacts in such a way. So it's just like, why do they keep testing rats for these things when it's really
why don't they offer the testing to people that call into the suicide hotline?
Thanks for calling. We have quite the opportunity for you.
Did you ever want to drink Drano?
We're wondering what the effects of this lip liner was on humans. And
we ran out of
you're not doing
chimpanzees.
anything.
Nicki Minaj was born.
Oh God. From Drano and Listerine.
So that's pretty much it. Again, thanks for hanging out. I did have a couple of buddies ask me why they weren't being alerted to why they didn't get an alert when the new video released on YouTube. That's because you have to subscribe and also click the little bell.
Notification bell.
Click the fucking bell after you click subscribe.
Click the art bell. Rest in peace.
Also, we are on iTunes, Google Play, and check us out there for audio only file.
We're invading the fucking internet,
the Aaron
people.
Neville
Get ready.
audio file.
YouTube's our main source.
All right, and
SoundCloud.
Rather than that, just kind of go fuck yourselves, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.
Ray got the memo this time.
I got it.
Snappy dappy.
Awesome.